Hello, welcome. Thank you so much all for coming. If you wanted to take a seat or if you prefer standing, whichever way you're comfortable. But thank you so much for coming to our official Hendricks Behavioral Hospital ribbon cutting. We appreciate you joining. Woo, a little windy. We appreciate you coming and joining us for this celebration. Some of you already know we have been taking patients for a couple of months, and we're waiting for COVID just to statistically to be a little bit more safer, and obviously for the waiting for the blue skies, and we definitely got them today. So we are just really excited to have you here and for this opening. Just a few housekeeping items. Wanted to let you know there are some snacks and beverages in the back of the tent, so if you would like, please help yourself. There's restrooms right in the front lobby, right through the main door. And after the speakers that we'll have here, we'll do tours through the facility so you can see our new state-of-the-art facility, then see what we do, and just ask any questions, and we will have our directors that will be more than excited to tell you all about the different activities and therapies that we provide. So we look forward to that. If you are taking a tour, they will be doing just quick screenings for COVID. Take your temperature. I think we're all used to those, our new normal. So we'll be doing that just to keep everyone safe. And first, we'll like to, our Governor Eric Holcomb has not been able to join us in person, but he has sent us a message that we would like to play for y'all. And if you want to get that going, hopefully everyone can see. It is really sunny, but.
Hello, I'm Governor Eric Holcomb, and it's truly an honor to join you, virtually, I know, to celebrate the launch of the Hendricks Behavioral Hospital in Plainfield, Indiana. For Hoosiers struggling with a substance use disorder or who need mental health care, or a combination, it couldn't be more important to have timely treatment nearby. That's why ensuring evidence-based care is within reach, and it's been a top priority of our administration from day one. And the work that happens at hospitals like this one, yours, isn't just game-changing, it's life-changing and life-saving. So congratulations as you open the doors and welcome Hoosiers. And thank you for your uber important ongoing efforts.
Thank you, Governor. We appreciate the support, and we're definitely here to serve the community and partner with the law enforcement and the EMS services that work so hard to keep us safe, and we're here to provide another service to the community. For our first speaker, I'd like to introduce our Dr. Jerry Sheward, who's been a part of the behavioral health scene in Central Indiana since 1987. After completing his psychiatric residency at the University Medical Center, he spent 28 years in the community mental health system, 27 of those years in leadership. In 2016, he began his 5-year project with the state of Indiana as the medical director, leading the design process, construction, and implementation of the Neurodiagnostic Institute. He's also been involved in research and implementation of Cerner, electronic health record, and throughout the state psychiatric facilities. He's past experience also in multiple managed care companies on utilization review and quality management. We are really proud to have him as our medical director. And please come forward, Jerry, wherever, right here. Thank you.
So let's not confuse virtue with attention deficit disorder. If I'm not doing something new, I get bored pretty easily, so that's one of my faults, I'm afraid. So I'll add my own welcome to what I believe to be is a significant addition to the community resources for those Hoosiers that need mental health or substance abuse disorder care at the hospital or partial hospitalization level. It's fitting that this grand opening is occurring in May, as it's Behavioral Health Awareness Month or Mental Health Awareness Month. And I usually don't get nervous speaking in front of people, but I'm struggling with it today, sorry. When fully realized, the Hendricks Hospital will serve over thousands of individuals every year, so we're looking forward to getting started. No project of this magnitude happens quickly, and the leadership of U.S. Health Vest and Hendricks Regional Health recognized an unmet need and chose to work together to bring this to fruition after several years of work. I was a latecomer to this party, but the opportunity to participate in the creation of a new and much-needed community resource was irresistible to me. We draw upon decades of experience within our leadership team as we open this new facility with new staff, new relationships, new processes, and the creation of our own new culture based around team as we work to continually improve and reach our potential. Your presence today is ample evidence of your interest and support of this much-needed facility. I'm excited to have you see what's been built and the care that went into its design and construction. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jay Chaudry, who's going to start now to slowly make his way towards the lectern. He is the Director of the Division of Mental Health and Addiction within FSSA and my own former colleague there. Jay Chaudry serves as the Director of the Indiana Division of Mental Health and Addictions within the, with no help from me, thank you, I appreciate that, within the Indiana Family and Social Service Administration, and serves as the Chair of the Indiana Behavioral Health Commission. Mr. Chaudry was formerly a managing attorney for Indiana Legal Services, where he served in several positions, including the founding director of the Midtown Legal Partnership that focused upon improving health outcomes by addressing the individual and systemic legal needs of Hoosiers with mental health and substance use disorders. He is a graduate of Ball State University and the Indiana University Maurer School of Law. Welcome, Jay.
All right, just give me a moment here. I'm good, I think. Yeah, so I may lean on this podium a bit. Hopefully it doesn't go tumbling down. So as you can tell, I'm in a cast. And obviously I'm very privileged with the notion that I can work from home. I can, all this stuff. I have support network and I have, all this great stuff. But a consequence of being able to work from home for over a month is that I haven't worn pants in some time, and it hit me yesterday that I got to wear pants tomorrow. And so I hobbled into my closet and picked out like 4 pairs of dress pants and laid them out on my bed, and then started like looking at the cuffs and like examining, okay, which one's wide enough and what do I do here? And, I tried one, it just did not work. And I was like, oh man, what do I do? And so I Googled it, and like the first 10 results said you should wear a skirt. There was literally like no advice for men about like what to do. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I didn't have a skirt, so that wasn't really an option. So anyway, I was like getting really worried, and I was like, oh man, what do I do here? Like it went from kind of like an amusing thing to like a real like panic moment. Like I don't have pants on. What am I gonna do tomorrow? And so, I grabbed a pair of pants finally. I was like, I'm just gonna pull, and I did, and it worked, and I have pants on today. So I promise there's a connection. It might be kind of tenuous. I like tortured metaphors. It's just like how I work. So. There's a ton of communities around the state, and us at the state as well, that are spending a lot of time thinking and analyzing and discussing how exactly to meet this huge, this huge need of especially inpatient settings for behavioral health. It's just a huge gap. Frankly, it is. And what I love about that, there's been a ton of work like Jerry said, but you guys acted, right? Like you just grabbed and you pulled, right? And I think that's really commendable, and speaks, I think, to not just Health Vest or not just Hendricks Regional, but really the whole community. I've gotten to know Sheriff Clark pretty well over the last year or so. I mean, he's such an asset to the community, and I mean, I know without his support, this probably wouldn't have happened. The chamber, the county commissioners, and so it's really just a testament to a community coming together and saying, we see a need, and we're going to act, right? We're going to commit to bold action. That's going to make a huge difference, and I'm inspired by that, and we at the state are also inspired and committed to bold action over the next few years to really meet these challenges head on. And we have the opportunity to do so, thanks to some federal money and to the legislature for reinstating our funding and then giving us an additional boost of kind of a pot of money to do something with. Representative Stewart-Wald's not here, but if he was, I would call a single him out. I'm doing it anyway, single him out and thank him for his leadership in this area as well. And so, we're going to use this money to do a lot of things. I could go on forever about our plans, but, I'll highlight a couple of them. We're going to build a best in the nation crisis response system. We know that too many Hoosiers that are facing mental health crises, oftentimes, the only option is to call law enforcement, and then they end up in the jail or worse. And so, we're going to fix that. We're gonna build a system. We're gonna divert folks away from the criminal justice system, because we know that in Indiana, just like the rest of the country, the criminal justice system is the #1 provider of mental health services, and that's not an acceptable status quo. We're going to build up and support and celebrate our mental health workforce. I don't know if there's folks here. I'm sure there are that are clinicians, and you guys are heroes. I mean, you're standing on the front lines in the same way that first responders and everybody does, and we're committed to figuring out ways to support you, both in terms of celebrating you and also making sure that your jobs are easier and better compensated and all those things. I mean, that's gonna be a hard thing to figure out. I don't have all the answers right now, but we're committed to trying. We've created a framework that's going to guide us through that process. And I'm going to steal from the healthcare triple aim here. Most of you are familiar with the triple aim of healthcare. And so we are, I'm using quotes because it's a copyrighted term, but we're going to institute our own triple aim at DMHA for the system. And let me just tell you about it really quickly. And so the first track of that triple aim is high quality. We believe that all Hoosiers have the right to receive high quality, evidence-based, culturally competent mental health services that treat that take into account them as a whole person. I think that the truth is that people don't leave themselves behind when they enter the walls of the hospital. And so all those things are important. The evidence-based piece, the culturally competent piece, the data-driven piece. I think that we have, again, the opportunity to use data in a revolutionary manner if we can figure out some of the nuts and bolts there. The second sort of aim is seamlessly integrated. And so one of the things that we know is that the mental health system, the behavioral health system, touches and interacts with so many different other systems, schools, the Department of Child Services, the criminal justice system, courts. And as speaking from a person who has a background as an individual patient advocate, I know that people that are navigating that system don't really care where the funding comes from or where which particular funding stream you're in. They want a system that works well for them throughout wherever they go, right? And so, we're committed to that working in collaboration with folks like Sheriff Clark and other folks to build that integrated system, because it's just not in a vacuum. And the final kind of leg of our stool here is I'm smiling because I'm using leg, and is accessibility. Accessible. Like the truth is, none of it matters if people can't access it. And that's the real beauty of this sort of community-driven, community-located response. This is going to be accessible to folks, and we need to do a better job of making sure that timely, high-quality mental health services are accessible to Hoosiers everywhere. And the last piece of accessibility, and this is sort of the quadruple aim, as they've called it in healthcare now, is accessible to people that are working in the system. And so, we're looking at things like administrative burdens and are we at DMHA? I mean, there's the federal government and there's all these different payer sources, and we can't really control that, but are we at DMHA or FSSA doing anything to contribute to that? And can we get rid of it? So, with support from the communities and kind of a grassroots bottom-up approach as well as a top-down approach, we hope to have a higher quality, more integrated, more accessible system by 2025. So that's the goal. We're gonna need your help to get there, and so I really thank you for inviting me and having me at this event. And our door is open for ideas, for feedback, and I really look forward to talking to any and all of you. So thank you.
I have one word for Mr. Chaudry: kilt. Kimball, talk to the man. All right. Kimball's the only guy I know that actually has a kilt and has worn it in public. Yeah. We don't want to see your legs? All right. Well, it's my pleasure next to introduce Richard A. Kresh, MD. He's President and Chief Executive Officer of U.S. Health Vest. Dr. Kresh is a behavioral healthcare leader with more than 30 years of experience in the for-profit and not-for-profit healthcare service space. Dr. Kresh is the founder and Chief Executive Officer and innovative developer of behavioral healthcare services focused in the Chicago, Atlanta, Seattle, Boston, and now the Indianapolis market. Founded in 2013, the U.S. Health Vest portfolio and currently includes 9 freestanding psychiatric hospitals, totaling over 1,200 beds. Dr. Kresh is a graduate of New York Medical College. He completed his adult psychiatry training at the Mount Sinai Medical Center of New York City and completed a fellowship in child and adolescent psychiatry at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York City. Dr. Kresh spent 20 years as a practicing psychiatrist at the Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York, prior to working full-time in the psychiatric hospital space. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kresh.
Well, I consider myself a very fortunate man that I can spend my life producing and helping to organize projects like this. We are doubly fortunate here. We've, as a company, have started up over the years 12 new hospitals. So we've had a lot of experience in doing this. I will say our experience in Plainfield and working with Hendricks Regional from the day one has been the easiest and the most cooperation we've ever received in starting up a new facility. So far, so good, and I think that it's all been a good omen, everything that's happened so far. The real work is yet to be done. My job is really kind of simple. The people who are now working in the hospital and taking care of the patients have the tough job. All I can do is provide, and my team, whatever support is necessary. Anything that's needed that can be obtained to provide for high quality care will be done. Our company values of essentially being our ambition may not sound like much, but our ambition is simply to be a cog in the wheel of the local healthcare system wherever we are. So we have our sort of limited role within the system, and we want people in the area, if there's a need for inpatient or day hospital treatment, to immediately think of Hendricks Behavioral. And in order to do that, we work as closely as we can with other healthcare providers, with law enforcement and first responders of all sorts. And our doors are open for suggestions and complaints, and we're happy to hear the complaints because that's how we can improve. I just want to share my joy in being able to look at this and look at the folks and have come to help us get started. And I hope we will live up to all your expectations. Thank you.
As you can see on your agenda, our next speaker is Kevin Speer, CEO of Hendricks Regional Health. Mr. Speer is a transformational leader with a healthcare career spanning over 30 years. He's Executive Vice President of the Indiana Academy of Family Physicians and serves on the Board of Directors of the Indiana Hospital Association, the Suburban Health Organization, and Vizient, a healthcare quality improvement organization. He also serves in leadership roles for Leadership Hendricks County, Hendricks County Economic Development Partnership, the YMCA of Greater Indianapolis, Crossroads of America Council, Boy Scouts of America, and the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. Do you ever sleep? Kevin is a recipient of the Purdue Distinguished Alumni Award, the Distinguished Eagle Scout Award, and the Indiana Sports Corporation Difference Maker Award. Most recently, the Indiana Fire Chiefs Association presented Kevin the Specialty Care Award for his work with community paramedicine. So I'd like to welcome Kevin.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sheward. I appreciate you reading that exactly how my mother wrote it. Jay, thanks for being here. Thanks for the tremendous effort. I had a chance to meet Jay just a few minutes ago and hear his story. A lot of similarities to us. He had this happen in the Smoky Mountains. My wife and I had just been in the Smoky Mountains. I was shocked that he got out of the car because I thought you could just drive through and see everything. So I did not break a leg from my driver's seat, but clearly more adventuresome than I am. So, yes, exactly. Yeah. So thanks for being here. Thanks for the tremendous effort. So this is a culmination of a community effort. And 9 years ago, as I was interviewing for this job, I had an opportunity to talk with a lot of community leaders, many of whom are in this room today. And there was an overwhelming sense of concern about the lack of access for behavioral health in West Central Indiana. And it didn't matter if I was meeting with the medical staff or our law enforcement community or the EMS community. Everyone had a common question, and that is, what is your strategy? What is your plan to reestablish and have meaningful behavioral health services in Hendricks County? And I can tell you that the board of directors of Hendricks Regional Health, that has been a focus for them in my entire tenure here. And Tyler Starkey from our board is here. I want to thank him for being here today. The board has made this a priority. So from the beginning, my answer to all was, I don't have a strategy today, but I will develop one, and our team will develop one. And so let me share a little bit of how we got here. We got a phone call from the president of the Indiana Hospital Association, Brian Tabor, who's here today, and he introduced us to Dr. Koresh. And Dr. Koresh introduced Martina to Gary, and Gary and Martina created what you have today. And so to answer the community's question, how will I solve this problem? I will be really good friends with the president of the Indiana Hospital Association. So this is totally, again, the work of the entire community. The town of Plainfield, from day one, when we talked about repurposing this land that we had here for this purpose, completely supportive. As we met with Sheriff Clark and other law enforcement officials, as we met with our EMS responders from around the county, unanimous support for this. And as a result of it, I believe it came together at a remarkable pace with remarkable efficiency. And keep in mind that Dr. Kresh and U.S. Health Vest built this facility during a pandemic. And so they never wavered, they never lost sight, they never lost enthusiasm for this project. At a time when healthcare, we all had a lot of questions we were answering of ourselves, and what is our role? How will we provide that moving forward? And so to all those involved, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's my pleasure to have Brian here today, and I want to thank you for solving our problem, and for Gary Everling taking on this task for us, and Martina, her steadfast leadership from U.S. Health Vest. So thank you all.
Well, it is with pleasure that I introduce Brian C. Tabor, President of the Indiana Hospital Association. Brian Tabor serves as the President of the Indiana Hospital Association. Just reading what it says, which represents the interests of approximately 170 Indiana hospitals. The association is the chief advocate for hospitals and their patients, representing their interests with the state of Indiana, the federal government, the business community, regulatory agencies, accrediting bodies, and other stakeholders. Prior to joining the IHA in 2008 as vice president, Mr. Tabor worked in various policy roles for the Indiana General Assembly and in government relations for the Indiana Association of Realtors. Mr. Tabor graduated from Purdue University with a BA in political science and a master's degree in agricultural economics. So with that, I'd welcome Brian Tabor.
Well, good morning, everyone. My bio doesn't go quite back as far as the Indiana Economic Development Council, where I worked with Andrew Klinger, the town manager. Where's Andrew? So, Andrew, great. It was great to see you again, and thank you for your work and your role in this partnership. So, as you've already heard, it's really humbling to back cleanup in this lineup when I had so little to do with the actual work. I made a phone call, but I am grateful that happened, that I had the opportunity to do that. So just to sort of recap what we've heard from some of our speakers, and I want to actually steal something that I learned from Laurie Gert, one of my colleagues at IHA who leads our work. She's our liaison to our Council on Behavioral Health, something that she's taught me and our staff. As we sort of close here, this part of the program, take a moment just now to have gratitude. Just for a few seconds, think about something. It could be something that happened today. It could be this event. It could be a family member. It could be something very large. So if you would, just take a moment to think of something and reflect that you are grateful for. Well, I wanted to share what I am grateful for today, and I was thinking about this, sitting here, thinking about, my tiny sliver of a role in all of the work that's done. There are dreamers and doers, and I think we all have to be a bit of both. But Jay said it very well in the opening. This is happening today because of all the doers here. I think about the progress that we've made in Indiana talking about behavioral health. I give credit to Governor Holcomb, who, as part of his campaign, made this a focus, a pillar of his administration, has continued to do so. And Jay and Katrina Norris, who's also here, you certainly reflect that commitment from the administration. Down to local government, Andrew and your team that worked here. Of course, Dr. Kresh, thank you for what you've built. Obviously, a doer, a great doer to build what you have in this incredible organization that has chosen to make part of its home here in Indiana. We are certainly grateful for that. Kevin, for our friendship and for your leadership on the board of the Hospital Association, and as being a mentor to me in so many respects over the years. Very grateful for that as well. There's so many people, I think, to be grateful for, but what they all have in common is that they were doers in some part of this process that led to what we're going to see here and learn more about today. And the doers that will come, those healthcare workers on the front lines there, as it was said by Dr. Kresh, the providers and others who support what they do, they are certainly doers, and they will be meeting this need. And to the patients and their families who will seek out care that is needed here to take those steps. It's not always easy, but they too are doers that will make all of this work and make the entire community better and healthier for that. So I'm just grateful for all of the hard work that was put forth to make this a reality today, that will occur in the future to make Indiana healthier. So to everyone here at HRH, with U.S. Health Vest, again, our law enforcement officials, certainly doers who are going to help bring people here that need services, thank you for your service. That's my little bit of gratitude, and I just want to thank you all for the small role or large role that you've played in this, and what you may play going forward. So thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers. I really appreciate all the words of encouragement, and we are so excited to work together. Now, if you could please join us at the front for the official ribbon cutting, and followed by the tours of our facility. Thank you so much.
Okay, here we go. 3, snap them away.